The dog lay in the puddle itself, resigning himself to his fate, living out his last hours. In the summer of 2021, we went for a walk with the dogs. That's when we found an elderly shepherd dog. The dog was lying in a puddle most likely. His strength simply left him. He lay down in a puddle on the road and could not get up even to find a more comfortable place. The dog lay in a puddle and looked at one point, as if he thought that he would never be able to get up and continue on his way. There was a wound under the dog's tail. Maggots had already settled on it, as well as on the back of the body. When we loaded the shepherd into the car, it seemed that the animal was dying before our eyes. There was a shaved area on the dog's stomach. Most likely, he had recently had an ultrasound. We assumed that the owners didn't like the doctor's verdict and, in order to avoid treatment, they simply kicked the dog out into the street. We named the shepherd dog Ralph and entered into a fight against death for him. The clinic diagnosed severe inflammation, did an ultrasound, and found out that more than 2 liters of fluid had accumulated in the bladder. Doctors removed the urine and gave injections for inflammation. Ralph did not have the strength to eat. He was fed from a syringe, after which he instantly fell asleep. For 2 days the dog gained strength simply to eat a little meat broth on his own. At this time, doctors carried out tests and examinations. When we found Ralph, he seemed like a very old man to us, but it turned out that he was no more than 7 years old. The list of diagnoses was more consistent with a very old man, cystitis, which did not allow the dog to go to the toilet on his own, fistulous under the tail, advanced bacterial dermatitis, enterocolitis, pain in the paws and back, preventing him from walking. There was not much chance that the dog would survive. The first 5 days were the hardest, but then we calmed down a little, because Ralph began to get up and move on his own. During the walk, he would walk a couple of meters and lie down to rest. But then he would get up again and walk forward on unsteady legs. The dog decided to recover, and this was a good sign for us. Soon the dog developed an appetite and became more active. It turned out that Ralph knows the commands well and follows them exactly.